Earlier, I did a video about the rule of the threes. This one I call the big three. Now, what are the big three? We've got black, shadow, we've got midtones, and we've got white, highlight. Now, these three are very basic to black and white cartooning. And the one that gives people the most trouble, I think, is the midtone, which comes in the form of cross-hatching. Now, I've pre-drawn a rough sketch here just to make the video faster, but I'm going to talk about the cross-hatching first. Most amateurs, all too often, will draw a cross-hatching like this. Vertical and horizontal lines. And this is not the way to do it. It looks like something that's coming off a loom. It does have its uses, however, and I'm going to draw it here. Now, say you have a big bully or thug, and he got his just desserts, and he's got beat up. So I'm going to draw a little beat up bully here. And he's kind of wincing. He's got kind of a bullet head and cauliflower ears, like that. Now, how do you show that he's been beat up? Well, one way is to do it is show a missing tooth or something, right? So he's missing a tooth. But here's where this kind of cross-hatching comes in. You use it on things that look beat up, and you can put this on anything, like, you know, not just his face, but on furniture, or an old car that looks beat up. Now see how it looks sort of scummy and crude, and it gives him that beat up look. Maybe we add a star up here because he's feeling the pain and it's swirling around his head. That's where this has its uses. But for most purposes, especially editorial cartoons, you want to avoid that. And I'm going to show you how I do the cross-hatching. If you want to use the big three on this guy, then you might want to make since he's a bad guy, let's make his shirt black. So we just give him a black shirt. See how that works? That gives the drawing some weight. All cartoons need some black in it to give it gravity. But here's how I do the cross-hatching, and you might want to consider this. Now, see the lines, they don't have to be perfectly straight or uniform, but you want to keep them at an angle that looks pleasing to the eye. And usually that angle is like 20 or 30 degrees. Now, see, these lines are pretty much parallel, as you can see. Now watch what I do. I make like a 20 to 30 degree angle on this for the cross-hatching. Can you see that? Now that looks pretty good. That looks more natural. And you can do, you know, all kinds of feathering to create form. And depending on how much form there is, if you want to make it darker, just do the opposite way, 20 to 30 degrees, like this, see? That's a good way to do it for cartoons rather than this. And speaking of this is more of a pattern. Now, when you're talking about patterns, a lot of beginning cartoonists get that wrong too, and I'm going to show you really simply here. Say you want to draw a shirt with a plaid pattern on it. Okay, here's your old wrinkly old shirt, like this. We'll give it a little collar. Okay, many cartoonists beginning cartoonists will think in terms of realism, and they'll say, well, the lines go this way, and then, you know, then it shifts and it goes this way, and there's wrinkles in it, so I have to make it go this way, and I have to make it go that way, and then this way again, and then that way again. And you see this, and you know, if you're drawing a realistic shirt, fine. That's the way it looks, right? You want to draw it the way it looks in real life. But the problem is in a cartoon. Now watch what I do with the patterns for the cross-hatching, you know, the crude cross-hatching. You get a really ugly, busy. Look at that, it looks awful. Well, you don't want to do it that way. I'm going to show you the way to do it. Here's the shirt again, and it could be wrinkly too. It's the exact same shirt. If I could draw it as closely as I can to the other one. Okay, here's how you do it. Make these lines straight no matter what. And this is how you want to do all patterns, whether, you know, there be dots or stars, whatever you want. All patterns need, in cartoons, as a general rule, you want to make them as uniform as possible. So now, when you do this, it looks clean. Well, you know, my lines are a little shaky, but you get the point. Make them uniform. That's the general rule of thumb for patterns. Like that. What do you think? Okay, now I'm going to show, to wrap things up, I'm going to draw a face and show you how I put the big three into action. And this is just something this is just a doodle here. But I'm going to show you how you can use the cross-hatching to create. I'm going to draw like an angry man in a hat, for example. Let's draw the hat. Okay, so he's got a white hat on, but you need to make parts black to give it some weight, give your cartoon a weight. And don't worry about cross-hatching or feathering on many of the items. You want to just keep them jet black. So this hat band is just going to be simply jet black. So what we're doing in this drawing, what I'm trying to do is apply the big three into an image that has all three elements. Okay, so we got the hat, it's white, black hat band. I'm going to draw the eyes. This guy has an intense stare, he's staring you down. He's mad about something. I'm going to give him... Now see how I do the just the subtle feathering of the cross-hatching around the eyes to give him a more of an intense gaze. Put like a little bit of a shadow underneath his nose. Let's pop in some ears, simple ears. Okay, so here's where some feathering comes in. You know, he's got the hair. I'm going to make him with a big draggled beard. And I'll show you how to do the beard. Now, well, let's put the mouth in first. Why not? Okay, there he is. He's all ready to go. Let's add the beard. I'm going to start out with the mustache on the top of the beard is pretty much black. So he's got like a really intense black mustache here. And then the same thing with the hair coming down. Now the top of the beard, I'm just going to make this kind of pretty much black. And you can see it. That gives him some weight and some gravity. Like that. But when I come to the rest of the beard, that's where the cross-hatching comes in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to repeat the lines like this. All the way down, and you can see how it's starting to fade a little bit. And there's his bedraggled beard. I'm fading it off almost to white, see that? Then you have to go back in, and then you make it at that same 20 to 30 degree angle to feather it down. So you got a gradient. And this is the mid-tone in action. So you can see how that works. Now I'm going to go in the opposite direction to get a darker crosshatch there. And then let's add a little bit of shoulder to him. We'll leave his jacket white. So, and that's it. You got the big three, you got the black, you got the white, and you got the mid-tones. And that's how it's done. Thank you.